Hello everyone, good to see you back again. Welcome to my channel's tutorial section. Today we'll be learning how to carve a permanent mandibular canine. Here you can see its different aspects with a few features similar to maxillary canine. So let's start. First we'll mark the aspects of the tooth: labial, distal, lingual and mesial. Now we'll mark the crown length at 11 mm. And now the root length, which is 16 mm. Next we will mark the central axis of the tooth, just a rough guideline, and connect these on the top. Now mark the mesio-distal width of the crown, that is 7 mm, but we'll take 0.5 mm extra. Now here it is critical to remember that usually we keep the dimensions equally divided on both sides of the midline, but here we keep slightly more on the distal, like this. Mark it on the top or the incisal aspect of the block and also on the opposite side. Reason for keeping extra on distal is that crown hair gives an impression of being bent distally, a slight distal tilt, while the mesial side stays quite straight with the root. Now we'll cut straight along these markings to the crown length, make the notches at the crown length and carve straight down. Keep verifying the required dimensions. Mark the labio-lingual width of the crown, that is 7.5 mm, but we'll take a little extra to 8 mm. Mark it on the top of the block and also on the opposite side. Now we'll cut straight down the markings of the crown length to make a cuboid. Make straight parallel walls within the marked dimensions. Keep verifying the required dimensions. Okay, so we are done with the cuboid. Now we'll mark the mesio-distal width at cervical, that is 5.5 mm. on the labial as well as on the lingual. Mark it dividing equally from the midline. Make the notches at these markings as we have done earlier in the carving, extending them labio-lingually. So we are done with the notches. Okay, now from the labial aspect, the mesial outline runs straight even. It follows the root outline evenly till the crest of the contour, which is in the middle of the incisal third portion. The distal outline is more contoured, starting with the slight concavity till the crest of contour, which is at the junction of the middle and incisal third, and is slightly broader in area than mesial, and then it continues as a longer distal cusp ridge to the cusp tip in the middle, and the mesial cusp ridge is shorter. The cusp tip follows the mid-axis of the tooth, matching with the midline of the root. So let's carve. First carve the mesial incline or the mesial cusp ridge, maintaining the angle of the blade to get the plane from cusp tip to the crest of contour. Close into the midline. Now connect the cervical portion to the crest of contour to develop a plane. Round off a bit. Now on the distal we know the contact area lies at the junction of incisal and middle third. So carve the distal cusp ridge first. Closing into the midline. See the angle being developed. Keep observing from the opposite side too. Now here we'll connect the cervical to the contact area with a slight concavity. Extend this shape labio-lingually. See? Smoothen the concavity. See the broad contact area. Take the contact area a little higher. Round off the line angles developed. Here you see a small angle. We don't need this. We'll make it a plane. This should be from cervical to contact area. Slightly round off the line angles. Verify the dimensions. Keep just 0.5 mm extra for finishing. Now mark the labial-lingual dimension at the cervical, that is 7 mm. Mark notches at the markings. Let's clear off before proceeding. Now from the proximal aspect, the labial outline follows similar curvature as maxillary canine, but to a lesser degree. The crest of the curvature stays in the cervical region. with very light curvature in the plane above it to the cusp tip, which generally is in the middle but can be found slightly lingual too. The lingual outline starts with the less developed slightly straight cingulum in the cervical region, then inclines to the labial with slight concavity to reach the cusp tip, which is slightly straight in the incisal third. So let's carve. Develop slight curvature at the cervical, keeping the blade at the angle to develop the crest of the contour. Next, to connect the cusp tip in the midline to the crest of the contour in the cervical. Start closing into the midline. We are developing a long plane from the cusp tip to the crest of the contour here. Keep checking for the midline. Maintain the angle of carver blade to meet the crest of curvature at the cervical. Check the midline. Need to get the plane closer. Match the plane from cervical to tip. See? Grossly done on labial. Now lingual outline. First carve out the incisal 2/3 part in a plane till the level of cingulum in the cervical third. Again closing to the midline, keeping very slightly to the lingual. Lower the level of cingulum by getting a long plane in the incisal 2/3. Maintain the angle of blade. Smoothen the plane a bit. See the plane and the level of cingulum achieved. Approach to midline a bit more, still keeping it slightly lingual. Now check the position of the cusp tip. We'll make it slightly to the lingual from labial aspect here. Remove any irregularities and even up the surfaces. See the gross outline achieved. See from the incisal aspect. See now. Let's clean up before proceeding. Okay. Now see the labial, proximal and the incisal aspect. Now from the incisal, it is quite similar to that of maxillary canine. The difference is that it has less curvature. Now on the labial aspect, it has the labial ridge from the cusp tip. On the distal side, it has longer outline with little concavity. On mesial, it has a short convex outline. The incisal edge on the distal doesn't follow a straight line. It's slightly bent to the lingual, while it is in straight line on mesial. On lingual side, it tapers to form V-shape outline as in the maxillary canine. So let's carve. Considering the labial ridge prominence, carve the distal outline in this motion while maintaining the labial outline of two plane. Closing it to the midline and later crossing it slightly since this is the distal side. We are forming the long distal outline as seen from the incisal aspect. See? We'll shift it slightly more to the lingual. Now on the mesial side, follow the same movement of the carver, forming short convex outline. Merge both sides a bit. We don't need a sharp prominence. See? Just closing to the midline a bit more. Slightly round off the line angles. Now see, a longer distal side with distally bent edge, raised middle portion, and mesial incisal edge in the center with short convex mesial outline. We don't need a sharp edge in the middle, rather a rounded prominence. Round off the line angles. We'll later make the developmental depressions to raise the labial ridge. Just even up for now. The distal side has a slight depression in the cervical region, as in the maxillary canine, so we'll carve with the curved end of the blade. Very gentle smooth strokes running from labial to midline, like this. We'll sharpen this tip a bit more. Now we'll make the developmental depressions. We'll make it on either side, just as we did for the maxillary canine. Just carve a shallow V-shaped depression in the incisal half. You can also use the blunt end of the Zales carver to blend. Like this. Well, it's a good idea to make it at last when you have almost final dimensions, so we'll complete these later. Just smoothing the labial ridge. Okay, now the lingual outline. We'll carve in V-shape outline as we did in the maxillary canine. Observe the angle of the carver blade running from contact area to the cingulum in lingual direction as well as in the downward direction to the cervical. Now just round off the line angles using the backside of the carver. Observe now. Okay, so we'll close the labial aspect to the midline a bit more. Keep following the two-plane contour while carving. See? Now we'll do the bevel of the incisal edge. Remember that the distal portion of the edge is slightly bent to the lingual, while the mesial stays straight in midline. Need to incline the incisal half a bit more. Also keep smoothing it with the mesial and the distal halves. Okay, so now we'll verify all the dimensions. These are slightly greater, just 0.5 mm. We'll reduce it, maintaining the shape and contour. Reduce evenly from the labial and the lingual outlines. Verify the dimensions and proceed to the mesio-distal dimension. Again reduce, maintaining the shape and contour of the respective outlines. Do it very gently and keep patience. Keep verifying the dimensions and reduce, maintaining the contours. Keep correcting the details with dimensions. As the dimensions will change, you'll need to slightly refine the incisal edge slopes too. This seems fine. Check the dimension. Check dimensions at the cervical too. Okay, so we have got the correct dimensions. Redefining the cervical concavity in the distal. Now see the distal outline from the incisal. It needs to be flattened a bit more and the incisal has to be bent lingually. Correct the mesial outline too. Need to make it short and convex. Now just round off all the sharp line angles from all the aspects by gently running the flat side of the carver. So we are done with the labio-lingual and the mesio-distal outline. Now we'll make the developmental depressions on either side of the labial ridge, just as we made in the maxillary canine. So we'll carve the shallow V-shaped depressions. You can use the Zales carver to carve. See? Keep blending. We have developed the labial ridge in between. Do the same on distal side. Use Zale's cover. The labial ridge or the middle lobe is narrow at the tip and broad at the base. So follow the shape from both sides. Use cotton bud to blend and smoothen. See now? Observe from the incisal. Seems fine. We'll just make the labial ridge slightly more prominent. Now just remove any sharp line angles and blend. Clean all the wax flakes. Keep cleaning the wax flakes to visualize better. Blend using the cotton buds. So we are done with the developmental depressions. See from the incisal view. Now we'll do the lingual aspect. Here we'll first make the S-shaped lingual outline as seen from the proximal, just as we made for the maxillary canine. First we'll make the concavity using the back side of the carver so that we get the cingulum here at the cervical. Keep the carver strokes 1 to 1.5 mm away from the incisal portion so that we get the incisal bevel too. See the slight concavity being developed. Also start blending the concavity with the cingulum. Just matching the contour of the lingual cervical area with the labial. Now just as in the maxillary, this too has two marginal ridges and a lingual ridge connecting cusp to the cingulum. Both marginal ridges are lower than the lingual ridge, so first we'll lower the marginal ridges. We'll carve at this angle so that we can lower and bend the ridge easily. Do the same on distal. See now? Continue with the lingual aspect. See the S-shaped lingual outline from both sides. See the cingulum. Now we'll develop the features on lingual aspect. We'll make the mesial and distal marginal ridges and the lingual ridge that connects the cusp tip to cingulum. The lingual aspect will be quite similar to that of maxillary canine. We'll make depressions on both sides of the lingual ridge. So the procedure is same as for the maxillary. See, we have already lowered the marginal ridges. So we'll make the depressions. These depressions will gradually merge to the side of the cingulum. Keep cleaning. Keep slightly away from the incisal edge. Gradually keep developing the groove. See, as we keep it at a distance from the incisal, it develops the incisal bevel too. Also slightly bevel the edge by carving with the blade of the carver. It's better to use the flat side. See? Let's zoom in to have a better view. Lingual ridge is narrow in the incisal region and wider close to the cingulum. So keep carving. See? Do the same on the opposite side. If you notice, we are following the mesial, distal and incisal boundaries to make the depression. See how we started merging the depression along the side of the cingulum? Keep the lingual ridge narrow at the incisal. See? Do the same for the mesial depression too. See now? Blend the depressions. Continue carving the depression a little to the incisal too. See? Blend the depression along the side of cingulum. Use the back side of the Zales carver. Run it on the lingual surface to round off and blend. See, the lingual ridge is raised and the distal marginal ridge is a bit lower. See from the mesial too. We'll develop the shape of lingual ridge slightly. Depress the region above the cingulum very slightly. Do the same slightly on the mesial marginal ridge too. Now you can see. Now just blend the features, blend it with the contour of the crown. See the shape on the distal? We'll blend it with the contour at the cervical first. Slightly deepen the depression. And now blend it with the contour. Clean it and smoothen it with the cotton bud. See slight irregularities, just clearing any sharp carver strokes. Keep carving and blending. Just round off the line angles. Clean it and polish it. Just slight corrections. A little touch up. Done with the crown of the mandibular canine. See the features developed. A little correction will be required after the root carving, so watch the video till end. We'll clean it up and proceed with the root carving. Okay, so we are done with the crown portion here, and also you can see some trimming of the root portion has also been done. I'm really sorry the video recording was not saved for that, my bad. But that's a simple step. You can check out my previous videos. It's a simple step of just carving out straight parallel walls from the cervical portion to the marking of the root. Check out the link in the description. Okay, so now we'll proceed with the root carving. We'll mark the height of cervical lines first at the proximal. Mark the crest of the mesial cervical line at 2.5 mm and that of distal at 1 mm. See the markings? Just draw the cervical line till here, connecting from labial cervical line up to these markings very lightly till the lingual cervical line. Don't make a deep groove, just lightly draw. Continue to the other side too. So the root carving will begin from these markings. But now first carve straight down from these corners to the root markings to remove the excess. One thing to know is that the root width on the lingual side is narrower than that of the labial side. It tapers to the lingual. Okay, so continue carving straight down from the corners. See? So now we'll start carving root from these cervical markings. We'll develop the taper. The taper of the root is same as that for the maxillary canine, just slightly more pointed at the apex. It has its apex tilted to mesial rather than to distal. On proximal side, it is broader, just slightly parallel initially and then tapers same as in the maxillary canine. First carve at the cervical of the root. See the movement and the angle of the carver. It is developing the initial taper of the root. Keep carving the same way until you get a very slight taper of the root or near parallel root outlines in all aspects. Now we'll carve to give the root taper. Firm carver strokes from the back side of the carver with slightly more pressure as reaching to the apex. Let's see. There's still a lot to do, not a visible taper here. We remember that the tip of the root is in the center, but if the tilt is present, it will be to the mesial. We'll be giving the mesial tilt of the root tip. See, we carve more at the apical third and now to the whole root. Also keep clean from the base around the root apex so that we don't lose the measured root length. Carve more at the apical third. See the slight taper. Keep developing the taper. Do the same on the other side. Okay, so now see the tilt of apex appearing. Continue tapering. Let's again check the root length, which should be 16 mm. It's a good idea to keep the base clean so as to keep a check on the level of the root end. Grossly done from the labial. Now we'll do from the proximal aspect. It's slightly parallel up to the 1/3 and then tapers at the apex. So start carving. Carve 1/3 parallel. Here we are just redefining along the cervical line. Root has sharp taper in the apical third. Also, root tip is almost in the midline of the tooth axis, whereas cusp tip is very slightly to the lingual. Now carve more taper at the apical third. Let's clean up again. Continue with the taper and the apical tilt. Check out the root shape now. We'll make the tip thinner, but not now, just to prevent the fracture. The shape seems fine, just need to taper from here. Okay, so now we are done with the gross shaping, but we need to do only two things now. First, to round off these sharp line angles, and second, to finish the cervical part because we want the root to emerge. Very lightly carve involving the tip of the carver to redefine the cervical. Follow the curvature of the cervical line. Very light gentle strokes of the carver. Round off all the sharp line angles. Always keep cleaning to see better. So you can see now we've got the cervical lines. See, we'll smoothen all. See the shape of root. We'll just reduce the width from the palatal because from the palatal side it is narrower than the buccal. Here at the line angle of the root, carve more to the full length of root. Since the palatal portion of the root is narrower, you can even see the labial outline from the palatal aspect. Right? So let's smoothen everything. Now we'll take the Zales carver and even up the crown at cervical. Okay, see now. Can you see this bulge at the cervical here? We'll reduce it. See now, it's fine. I can see slightly sharp angles, while this side seems to be fine. Just need to round off these angles. Okay, so we also need to get the crown straight with the root on the mesial side. Carve in one plane using the back side of the carver. Very gentle strokes. See now? Just finishing the cervical of the root. Okay, so now we need to make the developmental depressions on both sides. First we'll clean up. See the shape now. Just need to taper the root at the end a bit more. Clean up around the base. Rounding off any sharp lining at the root tip. Cleaning the base. Okay, so now we'll make the developmental depressions as we have done in the maxillary canine. Mesial depression will be more pronounced than the distal. A very simple procedure. You can use a Zale carver. Just carve a groove in the mid root and merge its edges. Now just polish it with the cotton bud. See now? Do the same procedure on the other side too. Polish it and see. See now? Just smoothing the outer root portion. Just even up all the sides. Check for any irregularities. Rest it all seems fine. We'll just polish everything. First clean and polish very gently with the cotton bud with very light pressure. See, it's all fine. Just this angle needs to be rounded off. Better now, clean and polish again. Making the root tip a bit more pointed. Okay, so here is our completed mandibular canine. Check out all the surfaces, the proximals, the incisal, from all aspects. And now try to carve one. I hope this video was useful, so keep practicing and keep carving.